Hi, my name is Courtney. I started seeing Naria back in January. I have been dealing with pretty significant GI issues since about 2019. It kind of just started as I had really bad acid reflux, and then I was just having really bad pain, and then all of a sudden for about 3 to 4 weeks straight, could do nothing but violently vomit everything I put in my body. I ended up losing, I think it was 69 pounds in that 4 weeks. I could not hold down any type of food. I couldn't even have water without just puking it right back up. I had started seeing a bunch of doctors, and everyone kind of did like their normal little tests, and then when that came back, they weren't really sure what to do with me, and they just kind of brushed me aside. And a lot of people were like, oh, well, have you seen a therapist? You could just be really depressed, or you could be really, anxious or really sad. And another common thing every time I went in with any stomach pain to the emergency room was just being told that I was pregnant, or asked if I was pregnant, or said that they weren't going to move forward unless they did a pregnancy test first, no matter how adamant I was that I was not pregnant. That kind of just seemed to be the automatic brush off. That, of course, got very frustrating to deal with over time. After going in and seeing a GI specialist, I had an endoscopy and colonoscopy. They were checking to see if I had Crohn's. And that, of course, came back inconclusive. However, they did find that I had a hiatal hernia that had apparently impeded into my diaphragm. So part of my stomach is essentially forced into my chest cavity. That's what's causing most of my pain. And then they didn't have an answer for why my body was doing everything else. At this point, I couldn't even have chicken broth without hurling it back up later. I went along with this for about 9 months, trying to, figure something out. I just kept going to the appointments, kept doing the stupid tests. Every time I would get sent to a new doctor, I'd have to do everything all over again. I was feeling just so frustrated and discouraged. I ended up getting pregnant, and I kind of thought that would just sort of make everything worse. And I ended up making it through the pregnancy, but about 6 months later, all of my issues came back. That's when I moved down to California, and I was introduced to Naria. She almost, instantaneously was just like, you know what? I've heard of all of these symptoms. I'm so sorry. That must be so horrible for you. She's like, let's sit down. Let's start talking about stuff. Let's get you an appointment. She's like, I know exactly where we're going to start. And it just started happening. And it was just, really great to, meet someone who understood and experienced it, and wasn't just, there to see you for 5 minutes and then brush you aside and, act like they did everything they could. Right from the beginning, she was very inclusive. She made sure that me and my family just knew, everything that we needed to know about the testing that I was having done, why I needed certain testing done. We did testing for, all across my body, which is really cool because, all of those systems really depend on each other. And she's just been so amazing and so helpful. And I went from back in January, I couldn't even really get out of bed. I have 2 children, and I could barely even manage to get up during the day to take care of them, let alone myself. It's about 6 months now, and I'm still struggling a little bit to gain weight, but everything else, I can eat pretty much whatever I want now, and I don't have any issues. I can't even remember the last time I sat in my bed in pain. I have so much more energy now. Even my family and everyone close to me has just said about, just how much better I seem like I'm doing, and, how worried they were before. And I really just have to thank Naria for all of that. And she's been there whenever I needed something. All I've had to do was text her, and she was there for me. And she's so knowledgeable about everything to do with your digestive system. And if she doesn't know something, she definitely, goes out of her way to make sure that she can get that information for you, or find someone who can give that information for you.